Usually, the pop songs, if we will, or existing songs that get put into a film, obviously those rights belong to a publisher and the writer. And so you can't get those as works for hire, but you can license them, and usually you'll license them for perpetuity so that they don't ever have to be paid for again. But the kind of, the ways that you can exploit the film might be limited depending on the license. And you'll hear language like now known or hereafter devised, or, in perpetuity throughout the universe because the world isn't big enough. It depends. Every studio has nuances of the way they like the language. But even with pop songs, sometimes if they're commissioned for the film, they will oftentimes the copyright will end up being owned by the film company. And nowadays, almost every film company is connected somehow to a catalog. So obviously a studio like Disney has a publishing arm, and by virtue of the deal they make, that copyright will end up belonging to the publishing division of Disney. Paramount, up until recently, had a publishing arm called Famous Music, and so same thing. But otherwise, the score which is written originally and specifically for that film is usually a work for hire, and usually all the copyright rests with the studio. But there are instances where sometimes even the composer will be allowed to retain like 50% of the publishing, which is an amazing thing. It doesn't happen often, but there are some instances where the film just doesn't have the budget, or the studio doesn't have the budget, and the composer is of such a stature that the director wants them so badly, and they'll say, okay, how about if we can't afford to pay you your usual fee, but what if we let you keep some of this? That doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it's usually great.